If you could just tell me about taking your teammates to the Roberto Clemente Museum when you went back to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's Clemente Museum is a place that was very special to me. The owner of the place, Dwayne Reeder, is the first friend that I made in Pittsburgh. When I got traded to Pittsburgh and I went to spring training, I was meeting with Cervelli and Mike Gonzalez, who's the translator over there. We were sitting there smoking cigars one night, and cigars brought up the topic of the museum because they have a cigar room down there, and he was like, this guy Dwayne owns this place, and they were telling me about the history of it and what Clemente really means to the city of Pittsburgh. And I knew who he was, but I didn't understand the importance to that city. So they explained it to me when we got to Pittsburgh. That was one of the first places I went. In the first couple of days, I just knocked on the door. I said, hey, I'm the new guy. Like, I heard about you. I heard I need to come say hello. And he welcomed me in, introduced me to most of the people that I knew there, helped me get in and find my little, pocket in the city. So when every time we go back there now, that's a place that I always try to bring, my new teammates to, just to one, hear the stories of Clemente and really understand what he meant, not only to the game of baseball, but to Pittsburgh. And then also just the experience. It's a good place for us to go and have some wine, smoke some cigars, get to tour the museum a little bit after hours where, we kind of have freedom to roam the place how we want. But Dwayne's a really good dude, and he's always made himself available and kept the place open for the ball players. So that's a place that's always one of our first stops. That's
awesome. So you had you invited the entire team. What kind of turnout did you have for the event?
I mean, we had most of the team was there. We probably had 25, 30 guys there, some coaches as well. But yeah, I mean, we had it catered by Dianoia's, who's one of my favorite Italian places out there. So we had a lot of good food, good homemade pizzas, sat out by the fire pit after and smoked some cigars, told stories. It's just a chance for everybody to kind of kick back and talk a little more about, life stuff and get to know each other a little more. And, it's really helpful for some of the new guys or some of the younger guys to just kind of like let back and loosen up a little bit and understand that everyone, has fun and we're still normal people away from the field. So
how important is it for you to go ahead and be that guy that gets a team together and just have those bonding experiences, especially when you're on the road and there's probably more of an opportunity when you don't have family travel?
Yeah, I mean, I don't take a lot of credit or pride in like saying I'm the one that did this or I initiated it, because Cervelli was very, instrumental in getting that whole thing set up and stuff. So, but yeah, I think things like that are important, and I don't think we did enough of it last year. And you can start to see it, when we start to struggle on the field, there's not that unity where everyone's pulling together to make things work. It seemed like everyone didn't know who to look to or what to do. So regardless of who initiates it or who gets it started, I think it's important that we do those things throughout the course of the year. And Haas set something up for us in Cleveland, so we all got to go out as a team and celebrate that. Stamma set up a dinner in San Fran, so everyone's kind of doing their part. And hopefully when we go to cities that people are familiar with, or if it's their hometown, they'll set something up for everybody and give us a chance to kind of go out and have some fun away from the field.
Do you see guys making more of a conscious effort to do that this year? You said it wasn't done enough last year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think after going through what we went through last year, that kind of did bring everyone together, and it took a little bit of time away from baseball to realize, how instrumental that kind of stuff is throughout the course of a season. It's 6 months of baseball plus a month and a half of spring plus the post. It's a long year, so finding chances to get away from the field and kind of see everyone in a different element and in a different light than what you see at the ballpark is important.
Word that I've heard from so many of your teammates has been camaraderie. You guys have something pretty special brewing, huh?
Yeah, and that stuff can't be forced. It's got to be, you have to be willing to go out and do some of those things. And sometimes you don't want to go, but you do it because, it's being a good teammate and just showing up, and you end up having, a really good time and staying longer than you expect. So I think the more we present those opportunities, guys will come, and, regardless of how they felt about it going into it, they usually leave feeling a different way. So I think just providing the opportunities for us to get out there and do some of those things away from the field is important.
Where would this team be without Eric Hosmer?
Haas is the man. I mean, Haas is the glue for everything. He's the voice, he's the laughs, he's a little bit everything. And this year he's the production on the field. So, I know there's been a lot of talk about trying to move him the last couple of years, and I think everyone in here is very grateful that he's still here.
Okay, last thing, I know that your contract situation has been a topic of discussion. Do you? I mean, where are you with that right now? Are you still open to talks? Are you surprised that on the offer?
I mean, we haven't talked in a couple of weeks now. We were talking at the start of the year and trying to get some situated, but we just couldn't really settle on something that was seemed fair to both sides and something that made both sides happy. So we didn't end the talks with hard feelings or any what's the word I'm looking for?
Optimism?
Yeah, there's definitely optimism there still, but we didn't end it with like tension towards one another about being upset that we didn't get a deal done. But I felt it was better for my production for the team to kind of table that stuff and just be able to go out and focus on performing and not have to be discussing money and contract talks every day. And I put a lot of that on my agent to kind of handle that stuff and just get everything ready and then present it to me all at one time, so it's not a constant everyday thing. But I mean, my job is to go out there and pitch right now, and regardless of whether I get an extension or not, I have to go out there and still do my job. So that's kind of trying to be the main priority for me. And me and my agent discuss things, regularly about what it looks like and what we're kind of looking for, and I kind of leave it up to him to do a lot of the negotiating and talking. So
one more thing, I know we know about the starting rotation is a great problem for you guys to have with guys coming back. But one guy that did come back, Mike Clevinger, how special was it for you personally to watch him come back after all the hard work you put in?
Yeah. I mean, I think everything, you become more invested in players when you spend that much time with them. Not only training and preparing, but throwing and kind of picking his brain on what he's doing and why he does it, and everything that he does, there's an intent behind it. There's passion, there's energy, there's maximum amount of focus, and when you're around that, it kind of rubs off on you, and it's a certain level of accountability that you know what he's bringing to the table and how he's going to show up every day. So it pushes you a little more to tap into whatever you have to pull out a little extra. So seeing the path that he took through the off season and what a competitor he is, I know it was extremely difficult for him to sit on the sidelines and watch for a while. And then you add on top the intensity and the emotion of coming back, and your first one being in your old hometown, or not your hometown, but the city that you used to call home. I can only imagine what he's going through. I was telling him, I was like, hey, I just went through this in Pittsburgh, man. It's going to be emotional. It's going to be tough, but the game's the same. Don't try and overdo too much. Just go out there and pitch your game. And I'm just so happy for him to see him back and competing. And you can see it's a different club when he's in the rotation. He's actually contributing and playing rather than sitting on the sidelines.